When you think of Nintendo, you might picture Mario jumping, Link slashing, or Pikachu zapping. But what if all these characters were thrown into one giant free-for-all? Well, that idea turned into one of the most iconic fighting games of all time. This is the evolution of Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. Is one of the most fun and chaotic crossover games ever made. But what if I told you it almost never existed? Back in the late 1990s, HAL Laboratory was working on new 3D games for the Nintendo 64. Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of Kirby, had two ideas. One was a 4-player fighting game, and the other was a stealth adventure where you control an RC car. The fighting game won out, but even then, Sakurai and Satoru Iwata started developing it without official approval from Nintendo. It was a bold move. They worked on it during off hours, hoping a working prototype would convince the higher-ups. Iwata wasn't a fan of traditional fighting games that relied on endless combos, so he wanted to create something different, something more strategic. He was so dedicated to the project that he even programmed the game in his free time on weekends. Interestingly, Iwata later became the president and CEO of Nintendo. At this early stage, the game didn't even have Nintendo characters. It was called Dragon King: The Fighting Game, and featured generic human fighters. Some mechanics were already in place, like smash attacks, mid-air jumps, and dashes, but Sakurai realized something was missing. That's when he had a big idea. Why not bring in Nintendo's most famous characters and turn it into the ultimate crossover? That one decision changed everything. Mario, Donkey Kong, Samus, and Fox McCloud were the first to join the fight. But not everyone was sold. Nintendo wasn't exactly excited about the idea of their beloved characters punching each other in the face. To solve that, Iwata and Sakurai came up with a clever story. What if they weren't really fighting? What if they were just toys, brought to life by a kid's imagination? And that's exactly what happens in the intro of the original Super Smash Bros. A mysterious hand, Master Hand, picks up some action figures, places them on a desk, and suddenly they come alive and start battling. It's like Toy Story mixed with Fight Club. It almost sounds like a wild fan theory, but in a 2015 interview with Time magazine, Sakurai confirmed it himself. The Smash Bros. Games do not represent the Nintendo characters fighting against one another. They actually represent toys of Nintendo characters getting into an imaginary battle amongst themselves. Nintendo wasn't sure about it at first. Smash Bros. Was originally planned only for Japan, with almost no marketing. They thought it would fail. But then word of mouth changed everything. Sales skyrocketed in Japan, passing 1 million copies. That's when Nintendo went from maybe to get this everywhere right now. After launching in Japan in January 1999, Super Smash Bros. Hit North American shelves by April with some wild advertising. Smash on the Nintendo 64 gave us 12 playable fighters, and looking back, it felt like the Avengers Assemble of video games. You had the legends, Mario, Link, and Donkey Kong, and some surprising picks like Samus, Captain Falcon, and Ness. Let's be honest, most people outside Japan had no idea who Ness was, since Earthbound, also known as Mother 2 in Japan, barely sold. Then there was Jigglypuff, who somehow made it into the roster, but later became a menace in the competitive scene. But if you wanted to unlock characters, you actually had to earn them by completing in-game challenges. The original Super Smash Bros. Featured several modes. Classic Mode, then known as 1P Game, was a series of battles ending in a fight against Master Hand, the floating glove who served as the final boss. There were also 2 bonus modes, Break the Targets and Board the Platforms. But multiplayer was where the game truly came alive. Items caused pure chaos. Pokeballs summoned random Pokemon. Bob-ombs exploded on contact. And one swing from a home run bat could launch your opponent off-screen in an instant. Smash 64 wasn't perfect. The physics were rough, hitboxes were inconsistent, and some characters felt slippery to control. But the concept was strong, and it was simply too fun to put down. It sold 5.6 million copies worldwide, became the 5th best-selling game on the Nintendo 64, and scored 79 on Metacritic. But more importantly, it laid the foundation for one of the most beloved series in gaming. Fun fact, before Smash, Captain Falcon had never appeared outside his car in F-Zero. Sakurai used him as a leftover fighter from the Dragon King prototype. His moveset was pieced together from unused ideas, but somehow it worked.
Super Smash Brothers Melee!
In 2001, Super Smash Bros. Melee launched on the GameCube. And it wasn't just a sequel, it was Smash on steroids. The opening cutscene showed a Mario figurine thrown into battle against Link, reminding us these are toys coming to life, not the actual characters. Got it, Nintendo. Melee kept the original 12 fighters and added 14 more, for a total of 26. Bowser, Peach, and Mewtwo joined as heavy-hitting newcomers, alongside Ganondorf and Piku, a baby Pikachu whose electric attacks deal self-damage because its tiny body can't handle the power. Many considered Fox the best fighter in competitive play, thanks to his lightning-fast speed and devastating combos, though Marth and Sheik were also top tier. Melee introduced 29 chaotic stages, with Final Destination as the go-to for competitive battles. It wasn't just bigger, it was loaded. Adventure Mode lets you run through Nintendo-themed levels. Classic Mode had new paths and boss fights. Event matches offered 51 wild challenges, like battling a giant Donkey Kong or outlasting 3 F-Zero racers. In multiplayer, competitive players pushed Melee to its limits, mastering techniques like wave dashing and L canceling. Super Smash Bros. Melee was a phenomenon. It became the best-selling GameCube game with over 7.4 million copies sold and scored an impressive 92 on Metacritic, 13 points higher than its predecessor. Could the series top this? Oh, it was just getting started. Fun fact, the motion sensor bomb in every Smash game is based on the proximity mine from GoldenEye 007. And get this, James Bond was briefly considered as a playable character for Melee. Thanks to GoldenEye's popularity, licensing issues and his realistic weapons killed the idea, but picture a final Smash, a martini toss that leaves foes shaken, not stirred.
Vodka martini. Shaken, not stirred.
When Super Smash Bros. Brawl launched on the Wii in 2008, it felt like the start of the Smash Bros. Cinematic Universe. For the first time, the series had a full story mode, known as Subspace Emissary, which turned Smash from a party brawler into a heartfelt tribute to gaming. And it wasn't just gameplay. Brawl was the first to feature cinematic cutscenes, showing rivalries, friendships, and dramatic team-ups. It felt like a full-length Nintendo movie, and fans loved it. Villains from across Nintendo history leapt onto the screen. Naturally, Master Hand was the obvious suspect. He'd been tormenting Smash fighters since 1999. But plot twist, he was just a puppet for an even bigger villain, Taboo, a glowing blue figure whose name literally means taboo, as in you're too old to keep playing with toys. Master Hand, the symbol of childhood imagination, being controlled by societal pressure, that was the real enemy. Not Bowser, but the idea that you're supposed to grow out of these characters and move on. Taboo represents the moment when someone tells you to put the controller down, but Smash says no. And yes, Taboo gets wrecked, because nothing beats Nintendo nostalgia. This time around, there were 39 playable characters. Solid Snake brought stealth gadgets into a world of exploding Pokeballs. Sonic finally joined to continue his rivalry with Mario. And somehow, Rob the Robot made the cut too. Brawl also introduced online play, at least in theory. Connecting was rough and the lag was awful, but once you gave up on that, there was still plenty to do. Adventure mode was packed, and beyond that, there were 41 solo events, 21 co-op challenges, and stadium classics, like the home run contest, target smash, and boss battles. Some players missed the simplicity of the older games, but most embraced the new additions. Brawl outperformed Melee in both score and sales, earning a 93 on Metacritic and selling 13.3 million copies, nearly double its predecessor. With the massive success of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, competitors started to show up. In 2012, PlayStation entered the crossover fighting scene with PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale on the PlayStation 3. It drew clear comparisons to Smash, but couldn't come close to the same level of excitement. Fun fact, if you've ever wondered why it's called Super Smash Bros. Instead of something like Nintendo All-Stars, or assumed it was just a play on Super Mario Bros., the real reason Brothers was used is because Nintendo wanted to suggest that the characters weren't simply fighting, but were friends who were settling a little disagreement. Those words came directly from the legend himself, Satoru Iwata. "2014 Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS and Wii U was quickly dubbed Super Smash Bros. 4 by fans, because saying the full title every time was a workout in itself. It was the first Smash game to launch on both handheld and home consoles at the same time. The roster was stacked. There were 51 fighters at launch, with 7 more added via DLC. Mega Man finally joined the fight, Pac-Man rolled in, and then there was Villager from Animal Crossing, who could win fights using a shovel, an axe, or whatever else he found laying around. Then there was Wii Fit Trainer, because apparently nothing balances out a brutal showdown like some well-timed yoga poses. And let's not forget Cloud from Final Fantasy, Ryu from Street Fighter, and Bayonetta. These additions proved Smash was more than just Nintendo now, it was gaming history mashed together. The stages were wild too. You could even fight on Duck Hunt, literally the pixelated backyard from the NES Classic, complete with flying ducks interrupting your combos. The game was packed with modes. Classic mode became a branching path of boss fights and rival encounters. Smash Run, as a 3DS exclusive, had you sprinting through mazes. And in tournament mode, you and your friends could finally settle who the real boss was. It became yet another success for fans. While the 3DS version scored 85, the Wii U version earned an impressive 92. Despite the Wii U's terrible sales, it still sold 5.3 million copies on that console and another 9.6 million units on the 3DS. With 15 million copies sold in total, it became the best-selling Super Smash Bros. Game at the time, though the next entry would leave that number in the dust. Fun fact, Masahiro Sakurai, the genius behind Super Smash Bros., is like a timeless Kirby powering through any challenge. During Melee's development, he worked 13 months straight without a single day off, even collapsing from exhaustion. And when food poisoning struck while making Ultimate, he got hospital treatment and was back at his desk the same day, tweaking fighters like nothing happened. In 2018, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out swinging on the Nintendo Switch. It brought back every character from previous games and added even more, building a massive roster of 76 fighters, with 13 more added through DLC. Still, no Meowth or Waluigi in sight. New additions included Inkling from Splatoon, Ridley from Metroid, and the jaw-dropping reveal of Joker from Persona 5. The DLC introduced icons like Banjo-Kazooie, Steve from Minecraft, and finally, Sora from Kingdom Hearts, the most requested fighter ever, and the perfect way to close out the roster. The stage selection was just as wild. You could battle on a Mario Kart track, soar through F-Zero, or fight in a chaotic Super Mario Maker arena that constantly shifted beneath your feet. Many stages transformed mid-battle. As for game modes, Ultimate delivered. Classic mode returned with character-specific boss routes. World of Light became the main story adventure. And of course there was Smash mode, the core of the chaos, letting you battle friends in local or online matches, with fully customizable rules. Whether it was 1v1 duels or 8-player madness, this was the beating heart of the game. The new Spirits system added even more variety, like a collectible card game where you gather characters to boost your stats or twist the rules entirely. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate truly lived up to its name. It sold over 35.8 million copies, making it the best-selling fighting game of all time, and tied Brawl's 93 rating on Metacritic, giving it the joint highest score in the series. Fun fact, with fighters from 40 different franchises, Masahiro Sakurai revealed his favorite character to play is Link, because he loves the classic sword and shield combo. And yes, he still has a soft spot for Kirby, which probably explains why Kirby is always so strong. He did create him, after all. Sadly, in November 2021, Masahiro Sakurai announced that the future of Super Smash Bros. Was uncertain, and at the time, there were no plans for another game. And despite the hopes of millions of fans, Nintendo still hasn't officially confirmed a new Smash Bros., even with rumors swirling about what's next for the franchise. But don't lose hope just yet. As of late 2024, Sakurai revealed that he's been working on a new, secret project since 2022, while juggling full-time development with his YouTube channel on game design. He mentioned the progress is going well, though he's keeping his cards very close to his chest. Since the Nintendo Switch 2 is already out, fans everywhere are hoping it means one thing: a brand new Super Smash Bros.